felt really alone on my health journey when I started such a long time ago because people weren't making health a priority then, or maybe it was just the people I was surrounded by. And it makes you feel isolated.
All right, Miss Bree, you're up. Here's Bree's story.
Well, it's kind of a long story to be honest. So my training is in the medical world. I'm an RN. Um, and so, um, when you graduate college and you've got a degree, you're like all gung ho and you think you know everything there is to know. But that's just the beginning. And I learned that the hard way, honestly. Because fast forward to being married and having two little ones, and my husband was in school full time. He was getting his master's degree, and so it was just me and the kids, and I was working and feeling run down. And I've never been real healthy my whole life, just always kind of small and sick, and never had really good endurance or health, or I don't know, there was just always something wrong. Um, Even though my parents were pretty good with nutrition and stuff, and my mom really tried. She did a really good job. But I just in nursing school we have one class on nutrition. That's it. Just the basics, so that we can tell our patients, follow the pyramid. That's it. And so you think you're doing the right thing. Well, my daughter had horrible food allergies and health issues when she was a baby, and she was hospitalized and had blood transfusions, surgeries, and she was just not healthy. And my son had speech delays, and so he was in a special ed preschool and stuff, and I was not thriving. My husband was always at school and studying and stuff, and so I was just like, there has got to be something more, something that I'm missing. And so I started just doing tons of research on nutrition, all kinds of things, anything that might help my kids, and anything that might help myself. And one day my mother-in-law brought me some kind of bar that was full of B vitamins. And I ate that because I was like, oh, I'm gonna try this. It's healthy-ish. I don't remember what was in it, but it had a bunch of vitamins in it and some nuts. And I felt incredible. And so then I started Googling, like, what are all these ingredients like? And I realized that I had B vitamin deficiencies. Like, I needed B12. Like, I had all the energy in the world after I had one dose of B12. And I was just like, how can people not know this? How come my diet doesn't give me all these things that I need? And so I started researching nutrition even more than I already was, and supplements and all kinds of things, and realized all of the toxic things that were in my home. And so I started getting rid of all of those, learning about vaccines. I'm going to use the trigger word, and how damaging those can be and how damaging they were for my son. And um, so I started myself and my kids on the paleo diet, trying to eliminate a lot of those toxins, a lot of those things that were derailing us and derailing their health. And we started to improve. And so that just kept going more and more and more and more. And so I don't know. When I say more, I guess I mean I just kept learning more and more about health and nutrition. And then we started building. This is like 10 years down the road. My husband graduated. My kids are getting older. They're in school. We're doing better. And my son's speech delay is gone now. You never know that he ever had issues. My daughter still has some food allergies, but she doesn't throw up every time she eats something she's allergic to anymore. So that's amazing. She's made a lot of progress, a lot of healing. But when we were moved back to the Midwest, we started building a tiny house, and I we started not having as much time for nutrition. I was homeschooling my kids, building the house full time. My husband was working full time, also building house full time. And so my health just went in the toilet, basically. By the time we moved in, I was having way too many health issues to list, but I was not in a good place. And my dad had been diagnosed with kidney cancer, and he had surgery, had a kidney removed, and he was fine for a year or two. And then the cancer came back, and they never told him that surgery was just a short-term option. It was a slow-growing cancer, so they didn't tell him that it was going to come back. And he didn't have any options except another surgery because chemo doesn't work on slow-growing cancers, and radiation wasn't an option because it was too close to his spine. And so it was basically surgery or nothing. And so he had another surgery, and it was kind of a nightmare, and it took him a long time to heal from that. And they were like, well, it's spread too far, we can't get the cancer out, so we didn't think we were going to have him around much longer. And so we went and spent a bunch of time with him. And during this time, my mom is also a researcher. And so she had been doing tons of research on alternative treatments to cancer, since the medical world couldn't really do anything for him. And she came across fasting and sent me some videos, and I was like, this is interesting. So I started watching them, and I was like, well, I'm going to do it, because I was desperate to feel better. And I was having horrible gut issues. That was one of the issues that I had at the time. I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm like, this is crazy. Like, because we're always told that you have to eat constantly to be healthy. And so I was like, this is like goes against everything, but it makes sense. Like, if I want my stomach to feel better, maybe I should stop putting stuff in it for a little while. And so I was like, I just cold turkey did a 24-hour fast. I just did not. I went from dinner one day to dinner the next day, and I got home and I was like, I am starving. But that day changed the trajectory of my family's life and my life and my dad's life, because the healing that I got from one day of fasting was incredible. And I was like, this really works. I couldn't believe it, and so I tried to convince my husband, like, you got to try this, because he had been very much overweight for a very long time, since our kids were born, basically. And it just only kept getting worse, and we were always constantly yo-yo dieting, and we've been on every diet, every exercise plan, and it's just short-term, and then short-term results, and then you just bounce back. And it was just like this. And so he was like, there's no way that works. If I start losing muscle mass, or I this or I that, I'm not going to do it anymore. But he started doing all the research himself, and he was just blown away. He was like, wow, actually, I think this is something. And so he started fasting too, and we both had incredible results. We lost all the weight we've been trying to lose for 10 years in 6 months, and we've kept it off since then. And it literally saved my life. Well, God saved my life with fasting, saved my husband's life. And when I learned that I could fast, God opened so many doors to my heart, and I started reading books about prayer and fasting, and realizing that this is something that's been missing from my spiritual walk with the Lord for my whole Christian life, is that people say, or they just are like, nobody needs to fast anymore, or, just because we've been told it's unhealthy, we're like, well, we'll just ignore those parts of the Bible, right? That never works out well. So we started praying and fasting, with prayer as our goal of being closer to God, and fasting for answered prayers. And so our entire family did a long 10-day 10 days of prayer and fasting for my dad. He had gone to Germany to do some treatments and had some scans before he went, and we did 10 days of prayer and fasting while he was there, or it was right after he came back. I can't remember. But when he had his next scan in January, the cancer was completely gone and God healed him. So I know that prayer and fasting is important, and I know that God heals and still performs miracles because the doctor told him there was, even his doctors in Germany with his natural treatments told him there was basically zero chance that they could ever get rid of it. They could just slow the progress. And so the fact that he's still cancer-free today and it's never come back, yeah, God healed him. And sorry, I'll try not to. I still have my dad because God brought fasting into our lives. And I mean, God really changed our lives with fasting and saved us from living overweight and unhealthy for so long. Our lives have just been absolutely transformed, and it's been incredible. So I am very passionate about sharing fasting with people for not only the health benefits, but also the spiritual benefits. So that's my story.
Oh, I'm all dewy-eyed
Beautiful.
now.
So beautiful, Brianna.
So cool.
I
I'm
can
super excited about fasting
Yeah.
with you guys. Super
Thanks.
excited. So I would have never considered doing a prolonged fast until I met you. I'd been intermittent fasting for already years before I met you. And then I started doing my own research after you guys came to Alaska and had dinner with us, and Tyler was like, oh, we should do this. So Tyler and I, as soon as Sherry, why do I keep calling Bree Sherry today? As soon as Bree left, I left our company that night. Tyler, had been talking to her husband the whole night, and he was so excited. And then we started doing intermittent fasting that Monday. We started fasting 18 hours every day from Sunday through Thursday. And then on Thursday, we would do a 24-hour fast and fast until Friday dinner. And then, so that was really hard. I think I shared with you guys in one of our regular meetings that because we would eat later on Thursdays because we all have our call. So we were going to shift that to a different day of the week. And then the 14-day fast came up, and I started doing my own research on fasting for that long and what that looks like for brain health. And I am so excited to do it. I'm nervous for the first 3 days, but I'm so excited to do it.
It's going to be great. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. Tyler's going to try it with me. We'll see how he does. But I have read so much on the benefits of fasting, and even neurologists that are big in the Alzheimer's world, which is my specialty, say, they actually only promote fasting for 24 to 48 hours once a year, just for neuroplasticity. So what I've read on a prolonged fast and what it can do for healing cells and the body and cancer and even the brain.
Exactly. That's one of the reasons we do one long fast every year is for cancer prevention.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I want to hear more because go ahead, Julie.
No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have done intermittent fasting also and have read on the benefits of it, but I have not been real intentional, I guess. And so I would like to, learn more about it as well. So it's the exciting part too, is really getting with all of us, learning from each other.
Yes.
And, because we've each done different researches. And I think people find that we all are big researchers and in our own
Exactly.
ways, our own specialties, or whatever intrigues us. But yeah, I can't wait to learn more.
I forgot to mention that my health is in such a good place now compared to before we started fasting. All of those horrible issues that I was having are gone, and I'm the healthiest that I have ever been in my life.
I think this is just the start of so many great things to come. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for letting us share our stories. Thank you for letting us pour our hearts out to you. And I would just say, if there's something that touched you when you heard anything, that you share it. There'll be a link, and I want you to just feel the okay to do that. We want to hear, we want to know how we can be a part of your community to support you and pray with you and to share the things that we've learned over the years. And this is not a one size fits all. This is a one size welcomes everybody in all shapes and all sizes. So this is a community where you come as you are. We are 100% here to pray with you, here to grow with you, and here to share with you. So please get on our email list and just sign up so that we can share with you more to come. Because I promise you, there is going to be a lot of good discussion and a lot of good things coming your way. So I wish you all the best, and we will see you soon. Talk later. Bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for Bree's story. To hear Sherry's, click episode 3.